Here's the thing about buying a bank-owned foreclosure. Nobody tells you about the junk left behind. Jerry was 34, repaired HVAC systems for a living, and had just dumped his entire life savings into a neglected two-bedroom house at the dead end of a cul-de-sac. The house itself was structurally fine, but the driveway was a nightmare. It was completely overgrown with creeping Charlie, crabgrass, and piles of rotting lumber the previous owners had left behind. Jerry didn't care about the house's history. He just wanted to park his truck without tearing up his tires. So, on a blistering Sunday afternoon, with a local rock station playing out of his Bluetooth speaker, Jerry was out there with a flathead shovel, scraping away decades of compacted dirt. About halfway up the driveway, the shovel stopped with a hard, hollow clang. Jerry paused, wiped the sweat off his forehead, and dug around the edges. It wasn't a rock. It was a rusted, diamond plate steel hatch, roughly 3 feet wide, sitting flush with the concrete. He honestly thought it was a septic lid at first, but there were no pipes nearby. He grabbed a crowbar from his truck, jammed it into the mud-caked seal, and leaned his entire body weight on it. It didn't budge. It took him 20 minutes of hammering, prying, and scraping his knuckles raw before the rusted latch finally gave way. He threw the hatch back. A wave of stagnant, mildew-heavy air hit him right in the... Jerry grabbed his flashlight and shined it down. It was a narrow, concrete shaft. Bolted to the side was an old iron ladder that looked like it would give him tetanus just by looking at it.
You found the sump, huh?
Jerry jumped. Standing on the other side of the chain-link fence was his neighbor, Mrs. Gable. She was in her 70s, holding a garden hose and wearing oversized sunglasses. "I don't think it's a sump," Jerry said, shining the light deeper. "It goes down at least 15 feet. Mrs. Gable squinted. "Huh, must be from the Millers. They owned the place back in the late 90s. Weird folks. Never brought their trash bins in on time. I remember them digging up that driveway for weeks, claiming they were fixing a drainage issue. Then, right around 2002, they just took off." Left the house to the bank. Jerry thanked her, grabbed a pair of heavy work gloves, and decided to do something incredibly stupid. He climbed down. The ladder groaned under his weight, flaking rust onto his shirt. When his boots finally hit the dirt floor, the air was freezing cold. He swept his flashlight around and immediately realized this wasn't just a root cellar, it was a reinforced bunker. Against the far wall was a metal cot, a bucket, and a folding table covered in junk. There was a 2001 wall calendar, a half-used pack of D-cell batteries, and a scattering of dead cockroaches. But what caught Jerry's eye was the stack of heavy-duty plastic storage totes in the corner. They were sealed with duct tape that had completely dried out and petrified over the years. Jerry pulled out his pocket knife, sliced through the crusty tape on the top bin, and popped the lid. He expected old clothes, or maybe survivalist gear. Instead, the smell of old paper and ink hit him. The bin was filled to the brim with cash, not neat, movie-style stacks, just chaotic, rubber-banded wads of 20s, 50s, and 100s. The rubber bands had degraded into a sticky mess, fusing the bills together. Jerry's hands started to shake. He opened the second bin. More cash, the third, same thing. At the bottom of the fourth bin, under roughly $500,000, was a thick manila folder. Jerry opened it. Inside were grainy Polaroid photos of a local credit union, hand-drawn diagrams of a security camera layout, and 2 fake driver's licenses. The photos on the IDs were a man and a woman, the weird folks who never brought their trash bins in. Jerry didn't have a cinematic moment where he considered keeping the money. He just panicked. He scrambled up that rusted ladder so fast, he tore his jeans, burst out into the afternoon heat, and immediately called 911. When the first patrol officer arrived, he looked annoyed to be responding to a property dispute call. Then Jerry walked him over to the hatch. 10 minutes later, Jerry's quiet, dead-end street was packed with 3 squad cars, a crime scene van, and 2 very serious-looking detectives in cheap suits who completely trampled Mrs. Gable's petunias. Here's what they found out. In the winter of 2001, a regional credit union 2 towns over had been robbed over a holiday weekend. The thieves had bypassed the alarm, cut through the vault wall from an adjoining vacant business, and walked away with over $4 million in untraceable cash. The FBI had suspects, a local couple who matched the description, but they couldn't prove it, and the money was never found, until Jerry tried to fix his driveway. The story made national news for about 3 days, and because the internet is undefeated, the fugitive couple didn't stay hidden for long. There was no dramatic Hollywood shootout. They were living in a rundown RV park in Central Florida under assumed names. A neighbor recognized them from a local news broadcast and called the tip line. They were arrested in their lawn chairs while drinking iced tea. As for Jerry, the bank that recovered the stolen funds actually had a standing reward for information leading to the money's return. After the government took out a massive chunk for taxes, Jerry walked away with a check for about $40,000. It wasn't retire on a private island money, but it was exactly enough to pay off his truck, fix his roof, and hire a professional concrete crew. Friends told Jerry he should turn the bunker into a man cave or a home theater, but it just creeped him out. Every time he looked down there, all he smelled was mildew and bad decisions. Instead, he used the last bit of his reward money to have the crew backfill the entire shaft with gravel and pour a foot of solid, steel-reinforced concrete over the top. Today, the driveway is perfectly flat, and Jerry finally has a place to park his truck. If you enjoyed this one, do me a favor and hit that like button. It actually helps the channel a ton. And if you want more bizarre, real-world mysteries like this delivered to your feed, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.